Theo here with Amateur Sports TV, proud to bring you another great special. This one's involving the Balmoral Hall Blazers hockey team, last year's JWHL champions, hoisting the trophy after an overtime win. The season has started off. It's doing very well with the younger squad. We're going to take a couple of minutes and catch up with Coach Sarah Zacharias, who is a player with Balmoral, graduating in 2008, and she's come back here to now lead the Blazers' 15th year campaign here in Winnipeg. We'll also have a chance to catch up with 3 of the hockey players that have been with the program and are now considered the veterans on the squad. We also look forward to bringing you yet another special on ASTV closer to the showcase, November 14th through 17th here on Amateur Sports TV, putting the amateur spotlight on those players.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind, with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Talking with head coach Sarah Zacharias. Sarah, graduate 2008. I have to ask you this first question. What is it like seeing your hockey players now in 2019-20 versus how you graduated in 07-08? How has the game changed?
Oh, I love hearing that question. It's one that, for myself, I'm not only the head coach here at Balmoral Hall, but I also am a Hockey Canada facilitator to run clinics to teach coaches how to coach. And that's the biggest take-home point that I always try to say is the game of hockey has grown and expanded exponentially every year since it started way back when. We look at how the game's come from 50 years ago to where it was even 10 years ago to where it is today. The skill sets that players need to have now, their control with their edge work, with their power skating, with their catch and release shooting, being able to shoot off the fly, off of both feet, and all the little details that go into this game are just at such a higher level than they were even 10 years ago when I started playing. I think back to myself when I was here at BH with some of the other really great players that have come through our program, players like Bailey Bram, Janelle Kohanchuk, Megan Dufault, Regan Bolton, our assistant coach. They're all incredible players, and we all got a great experience playing at the Division I collegiate level, all of us on full ride scholarships. And that's happening a little bit less and less nowadays because there's just so many more girls playing hockey, and they're all really, really good. So not only has the game changed and it's gotten faster, but the difficulty to get to that next level has just increased at a really quick rate.
It's a good double-edged sword, like you said. I mean, there's so many great players coming from all different programs, and the competition for scholarships and all over North America has grown. The importance and the definition of student athlete is so important to a program like BH. Explain how that relationship works at the school from a coaching standpoint that you see, because we'll ask the same thing to the players later.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the biggest areas that we focus on as coaches for the players that we're looking at coming into our program are they going to be a great student athlete? And it's important that it's student first and not the other way around. It's a little bit different in the guys' world where their opportunities are, kind of endless. The guys can dream of playing for the NHL and making a living off of the game. That will never be the case in the current climate for women hockey players. Hopefully that changes down the road, but where we're at today, your best opportunity is to hope for a scholarship so that you can get a great education. And I kind of say in our program, it's like a means to an end. You're going to get a great chance to hopefully play hockey somewhere else and play at that next higher level, but past that, you're going to have an exceptional education to fall back on when your hockey careers are eventually behind you. At some point, I like to say all roads lead to beer league hockey. Even the best players in the world are eventually going to end up there. So when that's all said and done and that's where you're playing, what are you going to have to fall back on? And for us, it's the education, all the way from the young players that we have in the BHA that start with us in grade 4, 5, and 6, up to our girls that are in grade 11 and 12 that are taking advanced placement courses, that are working on taking university courses already in our school and getting themselves prepared for that next level. And I think the biggest difference between our program and others that you'll see within Manitoba and in the greater area of all of Canada is that we put such a strong emphasis with our girls on our education. There is no slacking in our classroom. All of our girls have to maintain an incredibly high GPA and they have to work hard at their SAT and ACT score to get into Division I programs. You have to be NCAA eligible and you have to pass the clearinghouse and all of these things that I think can sometimes be taken for granted, that our program really does a really great job over the last 14 years that we've been running, really putting that focus in on education first, school first. If our chemistry teacher, Miss Kirk, if she has an outstanding assignment from one of our girls, all she has to do is send me a quick email to say so-and-so didn't get their lab in. I send it right off to the girls to a text to say, got to get that lab in before you get on the ice for practice today. And it's a really good carrot. It works very well. All of a sudden, whenever Zach has to send a text, the girls, they get their homework in right away.
You know what, that carrot, that dangling carrot of not being able to get on the ice is so important when you talk about a program and a hockey academy now. How did the program begin 14 years ago? It was just, it was a small program, but now it's developed into, like you said, as low as 8 and 9-year-olds playing in this group. And how impressive is that for a school to have that now involved from such a young age up into their varsity years?
Yeah, I think that was the whole intention and goal 15 years ago when they first sat down and started developing the mission statement and idea behind what this program was going to look like. A huge emphasis on Dean Rebeck and what he did to start this program here in Manitoba and what he did for female hockey players in this province. It stemmed through past just ourselves. After 5 years of our program running, programs like St. Mary's started popping up. AAA in Manitoba kicked off, and we had 2 City Winnipeg teams come into play. I think 7 years ago. After them, Shaftesbury came in for a time. They were here for a short while. And then most recently, the rink has just started a high school varsity program, which is on a similar level, but they're just playing at that lower level than what St. Mary's is playing at right now. But it's amazing to see that now there's close to 12 to 13 prep programs or AAA programs in Manitoba, whereas when I was playing and Dean Rebeck started this program 14 years ago, there were none. So for our school to be the trailblazers behind this and to really be the ones making the headway to promote and endorse and support female hockey was obviously extremely important and valuable for our school. And after they started working with our prep program and seeing the impact that it was making and not just in these girls' hockey careers, but in their lives, like coming to this school, I can honestly say it put my life on a different trajectory. I'm a different person now. I'm much better off for having gone through this program and this school. So for us to be able to take it from just working with 15 to 20 players on our prep team to now working with all of those younger students coming in and to get to see them for a longer period of time. I'm so happy that the majority of my athletes that I get, when I started coaching, I was getting them in grade 9 and they were coming through our program and playing all 4 years with us, which is incredible to get to work with a student as they're maturing through important life stages and milestones. And now, even past just those 4 years, I'm getting kids as young as grade 4 into our program. So we have a couple little ones right now that I know I'm going to get to spend the course of 6 or 7, maybe even 8 years working with them and developing them, not just on the ice, but their characters too. I'm going to help hopefully mold these young people into the women that they're going to become.
Your coaching staff is most certainly a great role model for the entire school. I mean, what you've been able to do over the last 15 years, like you said, Blazers, Trailblazers, the name of the team, Blazers, so important, imperative. How important is the vocabulary and the consistency of this program for those youngsters and seeing them move up in the years, not just in the classroom from the teachers, but also from the hockey staff itself, and knowing that they're going to have one day have this opportunity to wear, the green and gold and potentially represent their school in a national level or in a women's hockey league level?
Yeah, I think that's honestly, one of the biggest draws to our program is what we say, what does it mean to be a Blazer? It's a huge part of what we call our team culture in our dressing room. It's not just how you play on the ice or what you do in the classroom. It's how you treat each other, how you treat other teams and other opponents and the refs. How do you treat the little kids that are coming through this program? They all drive on the bus together. So today I was just driving a group of 20 of them, and I have girls that are in grade 12 that have been here for 4 years, and I have a girl that's in grade 6 that's her first year here, and it can be a little intimidating for the little ones to be on the bus. So the girls know that our expectations of being inclusive and being what I call an ambassador for this team and for this school. So I see one of our grade 12s go and sit beside the little grade 6, and the whole 30-minute drive from school to the rink, she spends the whole time talking with her and asking her questions. We stopped at Tim Hortons to get a couple coffees for the older girls. She went out and bought her a donut and brought it back for her. So developing that relationship. And my player that did that, I don't think she realizes what a difference that just made in that young child's life. So for her to see an older role model take interest in her and kind of pull her under her wing, it really makes a difference. And I always say it's this full circle feedback of, you guys, when my players, when they were younger, they had older girls at this school or older girls through BH that they looked up to, that they wanted to be like. I think of one of my players right now, little Chelsea, and she's been at the school since she was in grade 5. She's going to be one of the girls that you talked to today. And so she's seen a lot of these girls come through the ranks and looked up to a lot of them. So for her, it was all about, how do I get to this next level? What do I need to do to play here, to be one of these girls? And now that she is here, you can see that she really has taken it upon herself to want to be exactly like a positive role model that she had in her life. So she's going out of her way to try to make the little ones feel included and involved, trying to make the rookies on our team feel comfortable and happy here. So I call it a positive feedback loop. It starts with our coaching staff. It starts with the way that Boots and I carry ourselves and the expectations that we set for each other, and then it filters down to the way that the girls behave. It works. It works incredibly well, being supportive and being positive with each other. And I've seen it's tried and true that it makes a difference in these girls' lives. So we're going to continue on with that type of philosophy and hopefully lead us back to another championship down the road.
Another championship potentially on the road here this season. Winning last year. Before we get to that, what made you want to come back to Balmoral in a non-player world, now becoming the head coach after graduating and after going away and playing Div 1? What is it? What was the approach knowing you wanted to come back to Balmoral?
I think the approach was very organic for me. It wasn't like I graduated college and thought I was going to come back and start coaching this team right off the bat. I actually have a degree in biochemistry that I'm doing nothing with. I'd say it's good to have, but the girls ask me for chem help all the time, and so then I have to whip out my knowledge from 10 years ago. But for me, it was a simple conversation with a woman who's incredibly important to this program and to my life, Darlene Swenson, who is the strength and conditioning coach for our team and has been from day one when this program started 15 years ago. Dar is the only coaching staff that has been with the team all consecutive 15 years. So she's been there from the very beginning. She's been through every single high and low, and she's still here today with us. So Dar was somebody that I always looked up to as a player. And when I graduated and came home, she's the one who gave me a phone call and said, looks like the assistant coach is going on mat leave and they're looking for somebody to fill in this role permanently. And we think you'd be a great fit, so you should put your name in the hat. So of course I did. I sent a letter to the head of school, who at the time when I was a student was the head of senior school, my principal. Thankfully, I was a pretty good student back in my day. I didn't get in a lot of trouble, so I knew that calling her and sending Mrs. Kamens an email was going to hopefully elicit a positive response, to which it did. And then I spent 3 amazing years working underneath Jerry Wilson, who not only was an incredible mentor for me and a head coach of the team at the time, but he was also a good family friend. His daughters all went to BH. They were all my age. We all went to school together. I went to my grad party, which was at Jerry Wilson's house way back in the day. Now him and I are neighbors, actually. So it's another just full circle story of people believing in me and what I was bringing to this team. I would be remiss to not mention Tina Alto, who's the executive director of our school. She was the vision behind this team all those years ago, and Tina's dream and aspiration way back when was to hopefully one day have a former player come back and start coaching this team. So she started with me when I came 6 years ago, and then 4 years or 3 years later, we added Regan to the staff, and now most recently Janelle Kohanchuk. So we are the only program in Canada that is ran by 3 female coaches that are all alums of the program that they're currently coaching. So that's a pretty incredible feeling.
That is very incredible to know that you've come, like you said, full circle with this idea. And let's talk about this team. You know, compared to last year, excitement. I mean, raising the banner, winning the trophy. Now this year we have a new task, and that is to be return champions. How has this season begun for you thus far, and looking forward to 3 weeks from now in our showcase starting middle of November?
Yeah, every year is a different year and a different group. What I always love seeing with our girls, that especially the ones that we've had for such a long time, it's seeing them step into this next role and to fill those shoes that were left behind. I think of the players that we graduated: Olivia Savar, Kenesha Miswagon, Alex Yalawega, Chelsea Dinnan, Megan Schroeder, Shayna Moore, Catherine Lyon. Those are some big name kids that are all...
You're not just name dropping.
Yeah. These guys are all doing incredibly well for themselves at their university level now, be it NCAA Division I or U Sport here in Canada. So for the younger girls, our grade 10s and 11s that are now having to step into those roles of being the big dogs, as we call them, it's incredibly fun to see them take on that challenge. I think a big piece of what Regan and I are trying to do this year and with every year is take away the pressure to win. Even up to our championship game last year, it was never about winning for us. I'm never going to hang my hat on how many JWHL titles or banners I get to receive as a team. It's more about how are we learning, how are we growing, and how are we improving. So taking away that pressure of winning and focusing more on that growth mindset and how do we continue to evolve as a team and how do we continue to develop our players. That's our approach and how we're going to tackle this season, especially considering we do have a younger team this year. A lot of our players last year were in grade 12. We're in a different boat this year where a lot of our strengths are coming from some of our younger players. We have 2 grade 10 goalies, only team in the JWHL to have 1 grade 10 goalie, let alone 2. So we know that we're going to be a growing team. That's not to say that we're not going to be competitive and we're not going to make that push just as hard as we did last year. But we just know that we're not going to put that focus on defending that title. We're just going to put our focus on being better every day than we were the day before.
Success and progression, day in and day out, on and off the ice. This program is full and complete. Not to take words from Gord Downey, but how else, would you explain this program to someone that wouldn't be aware to Balmoral Hall, the school, and the academy, looking from the outside in?
Mm-hmm. That's a great question because we are such a tight niche, and especially in the female hockey world, it's a very small community. So if you don't know a lot about it, you don't know anything about it. So for us, it's like you said, we are really the full circle, complete, every piece of the pie. We were with the girls all day at school. I'm the first contact when teachers have problems, hopefully not always problems. Sometimes they come and tell me when all the good things are happening too, but we're there with them day in and day out. We travel together constantly. We're on the road. We only play 5 to 10 games at home a year. The rest of the time we're traveling. We're flying to Boston, to Washington, to Vancouver, to Vermont, all over the place and across North America to play our games. So we spend a great portion of time with these girls. I tell our parents of our players, we're their second family, we're their home away from home. And during the hockey season, Boots and myself are actually the ones that are doing most of the parenting because we spend more time with them than they do with their own families and friends back home, just by nature of how intense this schedule is. So it's important that we focus on not just how they're doing on the ice and how they're doing in the classroom, but as I said, how they're handling stresses in life as people, how they're managing challenges and setbacks. And it's a big part of our team being open and transparent with each other. Regan and myself aren't just working with these girls on X's and O's and tactics and skill development. I'm working with them through first breakups. I'm working with them through anxieties and dealing with depression and all of these bigger facets of life than just the game of hockey. I like to say that hockey's taught me a lot about who I am, and it's taught me some great characteristics and values. But besides the game, there's way more to life than just the game of hockey. And I think that's the bigger picture that I'm trying to take away here with these girls, is that we're here from them for everything, not just on ice.
That's a great message, Coach Sarah, because it's not just what's on the ice that's important, it's off the ice too. And like you did saying, life has become, I guess, more complex for teenagers now compared to when you and I were in high school. I'm going to end with this question. Knowing you graduated in 2008, you had a chance to move away, go to school. What is the one take-home message that you remember as a young player that you can then express and share with your teammates and your players on the ice?
Mm-hmm. I think especially if I'm focusing in on that idea of moving away from home for the first time, which for a lot of the players that I work with, it is their first time that they're going to be moving away from home when they go off to university. However, that's not the case for all of them. We have a player from Czech Republic, a player from Finland. Those guys moved away when they were 15 years old and to a country where they don't even speak the same language. So incredible respect for players like that who are able to handle that type of challenge and change in their life so young. But for myself, the biggest advice that I can remember came from my mom when I was getting ready to leave. It was the end of August, and I was getting ready to go to my school's training camp and move away all the way to the East Coast in New York. For the first time in my life, I was going to be on my own, and I wasn't going to know a single soul in the state and country that I was living in. And I was starting to get a little bit sheepish and maybe starting to second guess myself. And my mom sat me down and said, child, she used to call me child, home will always be here. This is a once in a lifetime opportunity that you are so privileged and fortunate to have received. You have worked so hard to receive this type of honor and this type of opportunity. Go make the best of it, and we'll be right here at home cheering you on every step of the way and there for you for any step backs that come, and you can always come home. So every year, it's funny because I think back to that moment when my mom had that talk with me, because every year I have girls that are excited, they sign in November, the season rolls around, everything's great, and then come June when grad starts happening and our doll assembly where we it's a kind of a culmination of graduation for our grade 12s, when they start to really let it sink in that this is it and their time here is done, and 4 years has flown by and now they're off to bigger and better things. It can be scary. So that's my message to all of them, that you've worked so hard to earn this. Go and make the best of this opportunity and know that you can always come back home when you're done.
Coach Sarah, you certainly have grown. You're no longer a child. You're now head coach of the Balmoral Hall varsity team. Thank you very much for spending some time with us, and good luck in the upcoming weeks, especially leading into the showcase.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me.
Hi, I'm Eddie Weiss from Metalmaster. You had an accident? Sometimes they're embarrassing, but they're always inconvenient. We have an incredible staff to take care of you. We have platinum certified techs in 4 different categories. We are certified as a gold class accredited shop. If you've made a claim already, perfect. Call us with your claim number. If you need a claim opened, give us a call. We'll walk you through. Sometimes you can get a little nervous dealing with NPI. We'll help you out. From Metalmaster Auto Body, straighten it out.
Standing with Coach Zacharias, talking about her playing days back with Balmoral in the day, as well as now her return to coaching with the Blazer hockey team. We'll be right back with 3 interviews with some of the players here on Amateur Sports TV. Sitting down with forward Chelsea Krahenbil. Chelsea, I got to ask you, how many years have you played with the Blazer program, the hockey academy here at BH?
This is my 2nd year playing with Balmoral Hall.
And so you were with last year's team, the championship team. How did it feel last year, starting at the beginning of the year, and the progression the team made as a group, and then finally that championship win?
It was scary as a rookie with all the big players, Olivia Savard, Kanisha Miswagon. getting to play with them was a real privilege, but just like starting out, we looked like a great team, new players, and the players playing for 4 years. It was a big like competition against our teammates and each other, and getting to the championship as a team, and just like throughout the whole year, we really became one. I guess it was a very team-like team. We were a real family.
That's important. Like, you become one, so it's one full solid unit. Tell me about the days getting into school and starting the program. How did you become involved with the Hockey Academy, and how did you first hear about it?
I went to BH grade 4 for academics. Heard it was a great school for academics, and then started playing hockey and heard about the Balmoral Hall Blazers prep team and how big it was, and kind of like right after I started, that was my big goal, to play with them. And I got to know Zach and Boots throughout the years, and it was just probably my biggest goal when I was young. It was just playing on the Blazers, and I reached that goal in grade 10.
Many people have posters on their walls. Yours was being a part of the Blazer program when you had that first opportunity.
Yeah.
How great did that feel, knowing you made the roster, and how relieved were you? Did the shoulders drop?
Yeah, I was brought into their office, and I was just like, my heart stopped. I was just like, oh my gosh, it's a crazy feeling. Yeah.
Do you think you were in trouble?
A little bit. I was like, what is this about? And then, yeah,
It was all good news, because, it's great to have that feeling. Tell me about what it's like, roaming the halls at BH, being on the varsity team, being a part of that, that upper team that everyone looks up forward to, and, how busy your days really are when it comes to managing your academics and your athletics.
Yeah, it's really busy. As you said, like we are looked up to with athletics and academics. We are super busy. Like, we're on the ice 4 times a week and practicing, missing classes for practice and missing classes for tournaments and travel weekends, and it gets to be really busy. But I think our coaches and just the teachers, and BH is a really good school with keeping us in it and making sure that we're okay and we're on top of things. And I guess just like having that, like everyone helping out, like having like teammates in previous years, like in like a certain class that you were in, like it really helps with like having questions or homework.
Having that extra word from that teacher saying, oh, she likes this versus this, or she wants something written this way. And that dangling carrot Coach Sarah mentioned earlier, if that carrot's not finished, the homework's not done, you don't get to get on the ice, right?
No, they're very strict with that. If a teacher wants an assignment in, you get it in, like, or else you're not on the ice.
Not to mention, though, the teachers can be strict, but you have an amazing support group outside of the classroom. How important is that for your upbringing? Not academically, but also just your time management skills have to be so crucial at such a young age.
Yeah, like at my rookie year, like I was kind of like scared for how big it was going to be handling school and hockey, when hockey was every day of the week. And as I said, like our coaches, and the weight was taken off my shoulders when like I felt like everybody had my back, and like everybody's been in my shoes, and just learning from one another, and like how to time manage and how to like keep up with certain things in certain classes. It is a huge weight off of your shoulders.
So now you're in your second year with the hockey team. What has this year? How has the year has begun for you thus far, and what are we looking forward to come showcase weekend?
I think just like building our team up again. Like last year was real fun, like seeing our team grow and seeing our team get better and better each practice and each game. And just like this year we're very close, and like we connected very fast, and just like seeing that like come like our showcase weekends and all the tournaments coming up, it really shows how like how big of a family we are and how like we grow every time we're on the ice.
Family likes to have fun with each other once in a while. There's got to be a little bit of a lighter side to things. For team building and getting to gel so quickly, what have you done as a team that's really made you guys feel as one so early this year?
We kind of just had like a connection we have a retreat every year at the beginning of our season, and just like everyone like connected and everybody was laughing with everybody, and it was just a huge, like, it felt so easy. It felt like everyone was like accepting and everyone was like there for each other, and it felt like, I guess like from like my rookie year, it felt different because I was a rookie, I was young, I was like small coming into like the JWHL. It felt a lot different, and this year I feel more as a leader, and it just felt more like gelled and more easy to like bring people in and like just like connect everyone. It just was.
It feels good. Last question I'm going to ask you: your favorite place to travel to with this team and why?
Probably Washington. It's one of our bigger trips. It's, I think, 5 days out of the week, and we get to do some tourism and walk around a bit. And we have a Starbucks in our hotel.
Starbucks is key. Yeah. Favorite drink?
I would say green tea lemonade.
She's going to keep it simple for us. Thank you very much for joining us, Chelsea. And we look forward to seeing you in the showcase in about 3 weeks' time, November 14th through 17th, starring our Balmoral Hall Blazers. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you take the first mortgage you're offered, a high interest rate could take your travel budget and send it packing. Before you choose a mortgage, take a second look. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Caisse Financial Group today. If you take the biggest mortgage you can get, you might find your budget can't support other important costs, like buying furniture. Don't let your mortgage weigh you down. Get serious about your mortgage. Contact Caisse Financial Group today.
Theo here with one of the veterans on the team, Ashlyn Zaharia. Ashlyn, let's talk a little hockey.
Okay.
Okay, it's good. Let's have some hockey. Right on. Here we go. Your third year with the team, with the program. How did you first hear about the Balmoral Hall Prep Blazer program, and what interested you so much to be a part of it?
I actually found out just by looking around because the Shaftesbury program had shut down, and it was my original plan to go there. But then I found out that St. Mary's and BH had a program, and I just sent an email to Zach and Boots, and they're like, come on out and have a skate. And then they're just like, yeah, come play for us. And I was like, and I toured the school, and it was a really nice school, and everyone there seemed really nice, and the teachers were really nice. So I thought there was no better choice for me.
No better choice. What is it like in the day in the life of a Blazer hockey player at Balmoral Hall?
It's pretty tough sometimes because we have all our schoolwork to complete, which is pretty hard since we are at a university preparatory school. And then on top of that, we have to miss last period 3 to 4 times a week and then catch up on our homework for next class for that, or have to do our homework on the plane when we travel and that. But our teachers couldn't be nicer, more understanding about that. Like, they give us the time we need to do our stuff, and they're more than welcoming for us to come in every day. And it's always nice every day because we're all a team and we see each other every day no matter what, because we have practice, but we have each other at school. You can ask the older kids, like we have kids grade 9, 10, 11, and 12, and you can always ask your seniors like because like everyone went through the same homework and that, and it's nice to have someone that you can talk to get homework done and then just hang out with all day at school. It really makes us a family closer together, having all that time together.
The word family and the word one came up in a couple of interviews already. Do you remember the first time you stepped on ice with this group? And do you remember when one of the veterans said something to you that kind of clicked or stuck in your head for quite a while? And now you're the veteran. Do you pass along that same message to some of the rookies?
Yeah, I mean, the first time I stepped on as an actual Blazer, I was scared out of my mind, but I was so excited to get going and start this great experience. And I was terrified that people wouldn't be nice or that, but nobody could possibly have been nicer or more welcoming. And you'll ask every player and they'll just say, like, enjoy your time here and have fun with it, and don't don't try and worry about everything, because in the end, like, I've already been here. This is my 3rd year, and it feels like I got here yesterday. It goes by so fast, and you just got to enjoy it and not take it too harsh.
You got to enjoy it. It's got to be exciting. What is the most favorable part of the game to you that brought you into the game of hockey?
I love absolutely everything about hockey. Like, you can ask any of my teammates or coaches, like, they'll call me obsessed. I collect every hockey card. I've been able to name 100 Stanley Cup winners backwards. And it's just, to me, it's everything from the way that you skate to watching the game. Like, I've always loved growing up and watching Sidney Crosby skate and make all of his plays. And it's just the fun of the game and those 40 seconds that you're on the ice each shift, that just nothing else in the world matters except the game and your teammates. And it's something that's a free space, I know, that for everyone, that they get away from the world to escape to this place where they feel safe and they know this is fun, this is what I do it for. And it's always nice to come back to it and be like, this is fun, like, this is why I play the game, for fun. And of course, we're all trying to get into universities and schools and that. Of course, I want to too. But in the end, if you're not loving the game and if you're not having fun, then it's not for you in that way.
Your passion is found on the ice, and you follow 87 very well. He must be one of your favorite players?
Yeah, he was one of my biggest inspirations to play hockey, because when I grew up, before the Jets were around, Pittsburgh was my favorite team, watching him and Malkin, and I was just always drawn to his determination and leadership and playmaking, because he was never the guy to say it was all me or anything. And I always admired how much he cared for his teammates and how hard he worked. And that's something that I like to do myself, is just work hard and be passionate and help out my teammates in that.
So let's talk quickly about last year's team. Starting out, a goal was in place, sort of in place. It was all about progression, making the next day better than the last day, and then getting to that championship game. How did it feel when that final buzzer went?
It was insane. The game was in overtime, and all of us, like, we didn't have a very good track record of getting scored on first and then having to come back and win. We usually played better and won the game more when we scored first. So we all kind of felt it when that puck went in the net in the first goal. And then Dins put a couple in the net, and we were like, this is possible. We can do this. And as we were coming off energy of that semifinal win, and then the game in Boston where we had to score 8 goals just to get into the semifinal, which was insane. And we knew that we couldn't give up. We didn't come this far and battle back that hard to just come and let one goal get us down. And then just one of the most fluky goals you'll see, but throwing pucks to the net from behind it, and the puck just went in. We all stood on the bench, and we're like, we saw the ref signal goal, but we were like, is it in? Is this real? And we stood there for like 5 seconds cheering, and the coach is like, what are you doing? Get on the ice. We're like, this isn't real. And then we just throw our gloves and sticks, and we're like, we did it. Like, we battled through blood, sweat, and tears, and we got here. And that moment of like lifting the cup over your head, it's something that, you know, you did with your family, and that everything is worth it for it.
It's a truly amazing feeling, and it's basically a full picture, complete picture. You found the 1,000 puzzle pieces, and you finally put them all together. Some of those puzzle pieces have graduated, and we look into this year a little bit younger of a team. What has been the biggest progression you've seen thus far with the 2019-2020 squad?
I think we're definitely gelling better now that we're getting together. Of course, you said we are a younger team. We have a lot of kids in grade 10, but they're all very good players, and they all have such good potential, and they're really finding their stride after first weekend playing in a big league like this. And some of them have already got their first J-Dub goal under their belt, and I think they're feeling pretty good about that. And we're just looking to keep outplaying teams like we've been doing and put the puck in the net a bit more, because that's been one of our bigger woes, and picking up sticks in front of the net. But lately in practice, we've been connecting and clicking and putting pucks in the net, so hopefully that transfers over to the game.
Zach and Boots, your 2 coaches, are they pretty strict, or are they fairly lenient when it comes to time off the ice?
they're like strict when they need to be, but they're both like they're two of the best coaches that I've ever had. Like when they're with us, sometimes like the line between coach and player, like it doesn't exist, and it's just nice to like have somebody that that's an adult that you can go to and like have fun with, or like go to them and say you need support or that, and like they're always there for us. Like when we're off the ice and that, like at school, they're in the office, we always come in and bug them, and sometimes they don't get their work done, and sometimes we don't, but it's always a good time. But when we need to get down to business, they'll pull things back, and they'll be like, you got to work on this, you got to work on that. So they're very good in terms of knowing when they need to be harder and when they need to let up a bit.
That's awesome to hear. This program, the Blazer program, not a lot of home games, a lot more travel than usual. You've been with the program for several years. Where is your favorite place to be, and why?
That's a tough one. I liked seeing Vancouver and Washington, because in Washington we got a lot more time to like go around and see museums and all the memorials and that, which is pretty cool, because sometimes when you're on the road, it's like game, sleep, go eat food, go back to the hotel room sort of thing. But in Washington, it was really nice. And like, of course, being from Winnipeg and Manitoba prairies, it's a lot of flat land. So seeing like mountains in Vancouver and the different weather was pretty cool.
It sounds like a fantastic thing. One last question I'm going to ask you, Ashlyn, before I let you leave. You've got one more year left after this year, correct? You got senior year. Have you thought about your future at all? And I mean, with the resources you have academically in the school and athletically on the ice, have you looked at, potential ideas of where you want to be after you graduate? Or are you still considering and worrying about the task at hand, the day at school, and where the next game is going to be?
I like to say it day by day. I focus on the day, but like, of course, like I've done a lot of work, and I love to go off to university, and I have a few places in mind that I've been looking at and making contact with, because all of this is like the best time to like build up to be playing in colleges or universities. Like, of course, every day I'm going to take it game by game, practice by practice, and focus on that. But when it comes down to getting ready to write emails, make accounts, and do stuff to get recruited or find a place, it's all of our goal to get good grades and play hockey in university or college, and that's the greater goal. And of course, I've been focusing on that, but I also focus when there's a game. I'm focused on the game and at the task at hand.
Ashlyn, I want to thank you very much for joining us and giving us some insight on what it's like being a Blazer at Balmoral Hall. Thank you so much for your time, and good luck on this upcoming Prospects tournament in the middle of November.
Thank you.
Ready now. Here with forward Chiara Esposito. Chiara, practice time getting ready for the upcoming showcase in the middle of November. Before we get to all of that talk, let's talk about how you first became part of the Balmoral Hall school program in your senior years.
Well, okay, I'm a bit confused by that question.
We won't worry about the kindergarten stuff.
Okay.
When you came back to school,
Yeah.
how was it that you wanted to come back? Why did you want to come back?
Mainly because of the hockey program. My sister had played at the school in her grade 11 year, and that had always been kind of like my dream, like, oh, go play at BH again like my sister. And then also the academic side to it was like really good, and we knew that would help my future. So it's kind of all around a really good decision.
So just the reputation alone of the school and the athletics just was like a no-brainer for you to come back.
Yeah, definitely.
So let's talk about the 3 years you've been part of this team. How have you seen the team progress over the last 3 years, and the message that Zach and Boots have been giving to the team in general?
I think like we've always looked at it. They've always given off the message that nobody is like better than anyone else. Like we are all like equal, and we're all working towards like the same kind of thing. So it really created like there was no I'm better than you or anything like that. And it was just like that's what's really helped our team dynamic. Like everyone feels comfortable, and it's a safe environment for on the ice to try new moves, or in the dressing room if someone has a point or something they want to say, like they feel this like safe to speak up. So
let's talk about life as a student at Balmoral Hall. I know it's the one part we don't really want to talk about, but it's so important because it comes before the word athlete.
Yeah.
What is student life like at Balmoral Hall and being one of those prep hockey players?
Busy, very, very busy. I think if you manage your time well, then it's manageable. But I'm in physics, bio, and chem, and that's like crazy big adjustment this year. But the coaches are super good with it. Like if there's a practice you need to miss because you're doing a lab or you have a test, or just this day is too busy with homework, like that's completely understandable because like you said, like you're a student before you're an athlete. So it's very manageable, and
a lot of time is spent on the road with the teams, traveling to all these different amazing cities. Let's talk about the outside resources that keep you on top of your student life while you're supporting and representing Balmoral Hall internationally.
So we will always have help like from our teachers. You can email them. Our teachers are always open for like emailing throughout the weekend if we had questions with like our schoolwork, or if we're missing, like if we leave on a Friday and we have a test like that Friday we miss, like the teachers could send it off with like the coaches and we do it on the road. There's always help. We have like the Center for Arts and Learning where you can get tutoring, peer tutoring. If you need to go in for extra work or extra practice with like a teacher one-on-one, that's always available, and their school's very good with that.
And so if we don't keep up on our homework, what happens?
Practice. So if you don't get an assignment in, then that day you won't go to practice. But if it like progresses and gets worse, then eventually like no games, or you'll miss a period, or not even the weekend if you.
It doesn't come to that
No,
though, really, because
never.
you said you've got the resources,
Yeah.
you've got the teammates, you've got the coaches, you've got the teachers, you've got the resources. You've got everything to make sure you're set up for success. And that's what this program is. It's setting you up for success. Where do you find yourself this year on this team as being one of the veterans in the squad, and your abilities on the ice and giving it to the rookies?
I feel like I have a lot more of like kind of understanding. Like I know I've been the rookie, and I've also now I'm both sides. I have a very good perspective, I think. I know my place, I know my role, what I need to do when I need to do it, and that's I think really helped guide me so I don't feel that sense of like panic or loss and questioning what I'm doing. So
talking with your coaches, they always say that no player is better or worse, that everybody's pretty much the same. Going through last year and knowing that you wanted to attain a goal and you achieved that goal with that final buzzer in overtime, how did it feel? I mean, we talked to Ashlyn about this earlier as well. How did it feel knowing that you guys were JWL champs?
Honestly, I don't think it's hit me yet. I still think about it, and it's like incredible. Like everything, like I look at the cup over there and it's like, wow, like we did that. And with hard work, and everyone had like a piece into it. And even like the girls that graduated last year wouldn't have been possible without them. It would have been possible without every single person that was on our team. So
last year was a very much a team that was older. This year we're dealing with a team that's a little bit younger.
yeah.
A little more bumps and bruises along the way. It's hills, valleys, a couple mountaintops. What have you seen from the beginning of this year to today that has really seen the best progression as a group?
Just like the constant drive that everyone has to improve. Like we'll have like 5-10 minutes before we start like our practice, or at the end of practice, and you will always see like girls working on individual moves, or you'll see girls practicing one-timers or shots from the point. Like they're always doing something to help them get better. And even at workouts too, like where everyone's pushing themselves, using a heavier weight or trying to improve their time. It's just like that type of like motivation they have to do better is what is incredible.
It's positive competition amongst the girls, right?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
And is the same thing in the classroom as well?
For the most part, because you also have the girls who aren't on the hockey team and that are at the school solely for academics. And so it's kind of, like you said, positive competition. Like you're always trying to do better, but not in any like, oh, I'm better than you.
You're pushing each other so that all of you become better.
Yeah.
You're all becoming stronger chains, not one weak link.
Yeah, exactly.
There we go. So you talked about physics, chemistry, and biology.
Yeah.
I did the same thing in high school as well. I found it very tough. I didn't have the emails with my teachers, but keeping in touch. Science major? Is that what you're looking forward to? Why sciences?
I want to eventually become a pediatric psychiatrist, which is very like shoot for the stars. But sciences may not have been like my best subject, but I've always had like a very like deep interest in them. And even if I wasn't good, like I said, like I still was like I wanted to learn everything about it. And I wanted to be better. So
you're reading my mind as you speak, right?
yeah, basically.
Okay, good. All right, so I'm still a little kid at heart, so I'm glad you figured that part out. I got to ask you a couple of funny questions. On the road, lots of cool things happen to help build the teams and the chemistry. What's the one activity you girls as a group do that, you know, kind of brings everybody together in a kind of a humorous way?
Well, Ashlyn, who you interviewed before, sometimes me and her will wrestle. Not in like a dangerous way, because I know it's a travel weekend that we're away, but we'll also like have everyone will come in and we'll like kind of we'll like have a pillow fight or something, just like kind of roughhousing. It's like fun. It's very lighthearted and everyone's laughing. Or sometimes we'll put like water, we'll have water in our mouths and we'll try to make the other laugh, and everyone kind of participates in that.
I've seen that before on a couple of different shows. It's quite funny.
It is.
Do we do any singing?
Yes. Tons of singing, and we may not be the best singers because we are hockey players, but definitely.
Do you have like a go-to song that you got to improve on, or you think is one of your best, your A games?
It depends. I think Bohemian Rhapsody, our whole team will go just like off the charts with it. This may not be the best, like I said, but yeah.
A couple of octaves below what Freddie Mercury can roll with, so that's okay, definitely okay. In the iPod, before you get ready for games, what are you listening to?
A lot of the time I'll be listening to rap, or sometimes just like hype music like that. I will nothing like too like quiet, or I want it to get me, you know, going, pumped up.
Got to get you going, right? Yeah. I've asked the girls this question because I think it's so important to understand and realize the importance of traveling and having the opportunity to travel with a group of girls in a sport that you love. Where is the most favorite place you've been able to visit while playing for the Balmoral Hall Blazers?
Definitely Washington, D.C. We always go for the Challenge Cup tournament there. And every single year, like the past 2 years that we've gone, it's been like my favorite. I look forward to it every year. So.
Now, Chiara, because of your last name, I also have to ask you this one last question. We've talked a little bit off of it. Yeah. Do you have anybody that actually comes up to you? And do you have a funny story you could tell us about you using your last name to kind of get a little in, a little out?
So once during spring hockey, a ref had asked me if I was related, and then I was like, well, I lied. I said, I was like, oh, a distant uncle or relative in that sense. And then after I took the face off, I guess I had hit the girl, and he was like, if you weren't related to Phil Esposito, I would have given you the penalty. And I've never forgot about it since. So
the last name works in your advantage. It kept you out of the box. That is awesome to hear. Chiara Esposito, thanks for joining us here. And 3 weeks, we'll now see you in the showcase, November 14th through 17th. Good luck. Stay healthy, and we look forward to seeing you for those 4 games.
Thanks. Thank you.
Thank you for joining us.
At Super 8 Winnipeg West, we have your comfort in mind with free Wi-Fi and free daily Superstart breakfast. We also have guest laundry facilities, a state-of-the-art fitness center, and a jetted hot tub. Sleep well in a spacious guest room equipped with plush new bedding, a 50-inch flat-screen HD TV, microwave, mini refrigerator, and Keurig coffee maker. Or book a suite with a kitchen, ideal for extended stays. Super 8 Winnipeg West, located just inside the perimeter on Portage Avenue.
Hi, I'm Eddie Weiss from Metalmaster. You had an accident? Sometimes they're embarrassing, but they're always inconvenient. We have an incredible staff to take care of you. We have platinum certified techs in 4 different categories. We are certified as a gold class accredited shop. If you've made a claim already, perfect. Call us with your claim number. If you need a claim opened, give us a call. We'll walk you through it. Sometimes you can get a little nervous dealing with NPI. We'll help you out. From Metalmaster Auto Body, straighten it out.
So there you have it, a great set of conversations with Coach Zacharias and several of the players with the Balmoral Hall Blazer prep hockey team here. Their showcase will be from November 14th through 17th, the JWHL showcase at Bell MTS Iceplex. And of course, we'll have all the games here with you. And of course, another great special on Amateur Sports TV.